What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the world of cinematics. It's Diego here, and today I got a really fun, feel good film for y'all. This is Fast Times at Ridgemont High. This is a teen comedy, a bit of a drama, but overall, it's a really great film, and this is one I'm really excited to share with y'all. So, thank you for being here. Let's watch the trailer and let's get into this one. All right.
Universal Pictures presents everything you always wanted to do in high school with everyone you always wanted to do it with.
Hey, bud, let's party.
They're the students of Ridgemont High. Brad Hamilton, the fast food king.
I shall serve no fries before their time.
It says 100% guaranteed, you moron.
Mister, if you don't shut up, I'm gonna kick 100% of your ass.
Charles Jefferson, a man with a mission.
Oh, gnarly.
Linda Barrett, not exactly the girl next door.
Awesome. Totally awesome.
And Jeff Surfs Up Spicoli.
People on lewd should not drive. That was my skull. I'm so wasted.
See Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Yeah, so what's up, y'all? I can't help but laugh at that trailer. It's just hilarious. Let's party, bud. Some funny shit right there. Yeah, but where do we start with this one? This movie's just a riot. It's just hilarious. It's kind of one of those movies where it's just a vibe. There's no real plot or there's no real main storyline or really like something like really pressing, like really emotionally draining, fear wise or whatever. I feel it's important to watch movies that are also feel good movies, family movies. I watch with my sister all the time. It helps you take your mind off horror movies and just get in a good headspace, because if you're constantly watching these pessimistic, these dreadful, baneful type movies, it's really gonna do some damage on your psyche and your emotional stability. That's how I see it, anyways. So yeah, it's important to keep that in mind if you're a horror fan. If you're a sick, sadistic motherfucker like me who likes to watch horror to feel better about their own shitty existence, etc., whatever. But yeah, these movies are just really, really a vibe, just a good time, man. Like, oh my god, let's get into this one. So yeah, I'm gonna go over some brief facts about the movie. So this film began. It started out as a nonfiction book, basically. The screenwriter and the writer of this movie, Cameron Crowe. He went underground or undercover for a while, I guess a year, in Claremont High School in San Diego, just to get material to write a book and eventually turn it into a screenplay for a movie. So here we are with Fast Times at Ridgemont High. So that's a bit of the background on how this film actually got started, how it began. This thing was directed by Amy Heckerling, so it's interesting. It's got a woman, a woman director, and it's done really well. I don't have many problems at all with this movie. And 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 not that I'm sexist or anything, but you don't often see women directors produce this big of a movie, this legendary of a script, of a you know just this legendary of a film that goes on in generations as one of those standalone teen comedies, high school comedies that will be around for generations and decades to come, I'm sure. So yeah, this was her directorial debut, and then she later went on to direct films like Clueless and Look Who's Talking, etc., etc. I don't know too much about these films, so I can't speak on them. It's interesting, this film had many star debuts. So Nicolas Cage was in this film briefly, just as a friend or a bud of Brad's. So yeah, we'll get to him and we'll get to Brad later. This has Forrest Whitaker in it, the big black guy. He plays a football player in this film, Charles, I believe, as you've seen in the trailer. Eric Stoltz is briefly in this movie as well, just as one of the stoner buds of Spicoli. Again, I don't know too much about Eric Stoltz, so I'm not going to speak much on that. Some other cool things about this movie. So Sean Penn plays Jeff Spicoli. Apparently he stayed in character the whole production of this film. The entire shoot, he was forcing the crew to call him by Spicoli. So Sean Penn, legendary actor. I guess he has 3 Grammys. Yeah, and this is one of his first major roles that kind of stapled him into Hollywood as one of the funny, badass motherfuckers. Yeah, Spicoli is just a riot. Love him in this movie, so yeah. Tom Hanks was considered for Brad, which would have been weird. Not sure this film would have been what it was, or what it is rather, without the actor that played Brad, Judge Reinhold. So yeah, there's that. Tom Hanks is, I don't really care for him, to be honest, but he's decent in Forrest Gump and things like that. Yeah, the soundtrack for this movie was it was a bit different than most movies that went with a mainstream soundtrack at the time. They went with a more edgy 80s band in Oingo Boingo, I guess they're called. A really funny fucking name. So yeah, it's just random. It's hilarious. It fits the film really well. I'll give it that. Yeah, there's a cover of Eagles in the End, which is really good. Love that song. But yeah, the music was okay in this. I feel like it fit the film well, and it was it's just so 80s. It's so nostalgic. This is just such a legendary film. And yeah, there's gonna be spoilers throughout, so if you haven't seen this film, I feel sorry for you. You must be living under a rock, because this thing is a masterpiece, and it's really well done. It's really hilarious. It will really make you feel good to be alive. It will really make you feel blessed and really appreciate life and appreciate film, appreciate cinema, yada yada yada. So I guess there was an X rating originally given on this film due to a full frontal male nudity scene, excuse me. And this was later edited down, so it'd be an R rating. In the box office, this thing killed it. It was a sleeper hit, so grossed over $27 million against a $4.5 million budget. yeah, this thing is just a monster. It's the epitome of 80s teen comedy. I mean, what else is there to say? You know, if Dazed and Confused rules the 90s, this film rules the 80s as a teen party movie, stoner movie, high school movie, etc., etc. So yeah, I covered Dazed and Confused on this channel, and I've been wanting to cover this one for a while just because, I love this film so much, and this film will teach you a thing or two if you're a young, say, high school kid or a young adult, and you're mingling with the ladies. You want to learn how to pick up ladies, whatever. This film is just phenomenal. I feel like there's so much value. There's so much realness packed into this thing. It's hard to explain. You got to watch this thing. You got to see it if you haven't already. If you have seen this thing, I'd like y'all to let me know what y'all thought of it. Was it good? Was it better than Dazed and Confused as a, standalone party high school movie? What do y'all think? I'd say this is more of a, just a teen movie in general, not too big on the party scene, whereas Dazed and Confused is a complete another party fucking riot. This is just kind of the struggles as a young adult and a young, sophomore, junior, whatever in high school. This thing is just, it's so good. So yeah, let's get into the cast now a bit. First off, we'll start out with, the legendary Sean Penn playing Jeff Spicoli. Now, Spicoli is a character that you've probably seen in high school before. He's a stoner. He always shows up late to class. He's always baked out of his goddamn mind. Sound familiar? No. Yeah, this is one of the characters that really makes this film a home run. He's just so realistic. He's so good. Like I said, Sean Penn stayed in character throughout the filming of this thing, so that's a part of the reason why Spicoli is so good. He's just hilarious. The things he says in class, how he's so baked all the goddamn time. He's just a baked bastard. But yeah, next up we got Mike Damone, or he's just called Damone throughout the film. That's his nickname. Played by Robert Romanus. Now, Damone is a character I really love because he's kind of got this cool, slick, laid-back guy charm to him. Kind of like the cool guy in high school. Not the jock, but the cool guy at the smoke pit where he's going to give you advice on how to pick up chicks, what to do at parties, etc., etc., how to make money, maybe. He kind of gives off the scammer vibe to me, which is funny, because I think in the movie he's a scalper, so he's hustling, he's making money, selling tickets, reselling tickets to big concerts, like whoever's playing at the time, Kiss, Eagles, whoever. It's really cool. Next up we got Mark Ratner, or Mark throughout the film, played by Brian Backer. Now Mark is another great character. This is the kind of character who's more shy, laid back, quiet. Well, he's not necessarily quiet, I'd say, but he's definitely shy and more reserved. He's not willing to go out and talk to women as much as, say, Damone, and get embarrassed and get slapped in the face. He's more calculated, more, more methodical. He's more of a smart, nerdy type guy. So yeah, Mark Ratner. Yeah, just another phenomenal character. I feel like all these characters really resemble, high school kids quite well. And at the time in the 80s, this is perfect. So yeah. Next up, we got Brad Hamilton, played by Judge Reinhold, I mentioned. Yeah, Brad is just another phenomenal character. He's he's a bit more talkative and outgoing than Mark's, I'd say, but he's still, kind of shy and reserved as well. He's a money maker. He's a go-getter. He's a guy that'll do whatever it takes to, make money, to take care of his girlfriend, to take care of his family, which I respect. And I like in this movie how, they showed that perspective of a struggling young adult, a struggling, high school kid, rather, who's working multiple jobs just to get by and just to, live a better life, say. He's not lazy, but he definitely gets stressed out, and he might not deal with his stress in the best ways. But he's not really a big drinker or a big drug user either, which is cool. Next up, we got Lisa. That's Brad's girlfriend in the film. And Lisa, played by Amanda Weiss. Now, this is Amanda Weiss before she stepped into the Nightmare on Elm Street role as Tina. So this is a 1982 film. And Nightmare on Elm Street is 84, so... yeah, there's that. She's really good in this film. She's kind of like the bitchy girlfriend who just wants to get what she needs from her man, but she doesn't want to put out, she doesn't want to give him any pussy or anything like that. So, yeah, I feel like she plays the role well. And then, yeah, she's really great in Nightmare on Elm Street, but her role is kind of brief and a bit shorter in this film. Brad really wants to please his girlfriend, but, he's doing everything he can, working and et cetera, and she's still not putting out, so he kind of gets fed up in this film and says, fuck you. But anyways, yeah, next up we got Linda Barrett, just Linda throughout the film, played by Phoebe Cates, or Phoebe Katz, whatever. Oh my god, she's just such a gorgeous woman in this film, gorgeous girl, What's more to say about her? She's just amazing, very beautiful. There's a scene where she's by the pool and, I think she shows her tits in this film. It's amazing. Yeah, and she's kind of every guy's crush, you'd say. She has a long-distance boyfriend who's, like, away on a work trip, and, things don't really work out, and I'm glad that this film showed the realities of long-distance relationships and how, they're not all they're cracked up to be. So yeah, Phoebe Cates, whatever, she does a really great job as Linda in this film, but mostly just because she's so drop-dead gorgeous. Oh my god. Next up, we got Stacey Hamilton. This is Brad's sister, younger sister, I'm guessing, played by Jennifer Jason Leigh. Oh my god, again, just a beautiful woman, total blonde bombshell. Yeah, and she's kind of one of the more main character women in this film, I should say, or I would say. Yeah, she's basically in this film from the very get-go to the very end. And yeah, she's great in this film, acting throughout was pretty decent. It's convincing, it looks good, you're convinced they're just high school kids, and you're right there in the fucking movie with them, or in their high school. in their high school dance or in the mall, whatever. Yeah, I like how they showed, the reality of being a young woman in this film, and you know, Stacy kind of portrays that well as, the young hot blonde girl who's nervous to have sex, but when she finally does, it's not all she thought it would be, and she's kind of disappointed. And then she kind of realizes it's more about true love and commitment and connection, intimacy. It's not all about physical attractiveness, physical looks. I could care less about that shit at the end of the day. But it's definitely a factor in, sex, love, all that stuff. So, yeah. Next up, we got Arnold. He's just kind of a weird nerd, I should say. He's, plays the nerd role well. He's a guy in high school that, he's very smart. He gets good grades, but, he's not very attractive, or he doesn't get many women. But yeah, I like how they have characters to fit kind of every stereotype or every reality of how people are in society, or in high school, I should say. Next up we got Charles, as I mentioned. Sorry, Arnold was played by Scott Thompson, if I didn't mention. Next up we got Charles, played by Forrest Whitaker. Big black guy. He plays the football jock, the guy who's killing it on the field. Cool, laid-back guy, got a lot of money from being a football star, whatever. He's got a really nice second-gen Camaro, I believe it is, in the film. It's fucking beautiful. And Spicoli ends up taking it for a booze cruise with Charles' younger brother, and some shit happens. Hey, people shouldn't drive on lewds, man. We got Mr. Han next, played by Ray Walston. This is kind of the, smart, strict professor you might have in college or high school. He appreciates his time, and he really has a problem with when people waste his time, like Spicoli, who's ordering pizza to class, who's showing up late, etc. This guy, Mr. Hand, he would probably remind you of someone that you've had as a professor or a teacher in high school. He's just hilarious. He plays the role really well, and I think his acting's really good as an older guy in this film. And then we got Mr. Vargas, played by Vincent Schiavelli, or Schiavelli. Again, pretty good acting. He's kind of this guy's more of a chill professor type. I think he's a biologist, or he teaches biology, and he's more of a just chill professor, so he fits that stereotype. Some of us might have had this type of professor in college, etc. And his wife is really hot too. In the end, he introduces his star students. I think it's Mark and Arnold to him and his wife at the dance. It's pretty funny, and she's just stunning. So there's that. Excuse me. Oh, need a drink, had to take a breath. So we got through the cast, we got through some cool things about this movie, the director, the writers, things like that. Now I guess we'll get a bit more into, the message of this movie, and then after that I'll get into a couple things that could have been done maybe a bit better in my opinion. So yeah, the general message of this movie is really there isn't no message, and I really love those type of movies at the end of the day, because it's like you're not looking for a plot twist, or you're not looking for things to really make sense, and it takes a lot of stress off of the viewer, and you're kind of just there with the actors, with the script, with the directors, and you're just chilling, you're just having a good time. So this movie's all about feeling good and laughing, but you also feel those emotions of being a young kid, and you'll feel the nostalgic vibe of being in high school. You'll feel like you're in this school with these kids, or you're one of their friends, and you're just kind of there riding along. You might feel like you're one of the actors or one of the characters you relate closest to. So for me, it would be probably Spicoli or Mark. I was a big stoner in high school, and skipped class a lot. Well, I shouldn't say I skipped a lot, but there was a lot of times that I did miss just because I was baked, or I was at the skate park, whatever. And then the side of me that's like Mark is the kid that's always showing up, trying hard, trying to be smart, trying to impress, the rest of the class, trying to impress the girls that are there, that are, pretty, trying to impress the teacher. So yeah, there's that. So yeah, really, it's just a really good feel-good film that will touch on your emotions, maybe pull your heartstrings a bit with nostalgia and that feeling of being back in high school. Some of my favorite scenes in this movie are, probably the beginning, the opening scene where Damone is talking to Mark about how to pick up girls, and he's saying, it's all a vibe, you just gotta be cool, be calm, don't think too hard, use your body language, use your tone of voice, but don't try to be too intellectual or things like that. And he's laying out these rules for Mark, and it's just so good, it's so fucking hilarious. But it's also so true, if you really live that life, and you tried to pick up girls in high school, it's just so true. And even as a young adult, as I am now, well, I'm older now, but time flies, fast times. Yeah. But yeah, even now, a lot of the stuff he says is true about women, and picking them up, etc., etc. So I love that scene. I love the scene where fucking Spicoli's high as shit. He's drunk and he's driving Buddy's Camaro, and he ends up fucking completely obliterating it, just crashing like an idiot, driving like an idiot. Yeah, that's a pretty good scene. The ending scene where they're at the dance, and they got the music going, they got the Eagles cover band there. That's a really good scene to me. And yeah, I just love how Mark is continuously trying to get this girl, trying to get Stacy, but he's taking it slow. Like, she tries to have sex with him in the movie, but he's like, nah, I'm not really ready yet. And he's like, oh, I forgot there's something at home I gotta go do, and he dips. I think that's really relatable, especially if you're a virgin and you haven't had sex yet. You're going to wait for the perfect time. You don't want it to feel rushed. you want to make sure you really care about the person you're with and you feel good about her, or him, which was not the case for me, to be honest. It was just kind of a drunken high mix-up, but that's neither here nor there. What else can I say about this movie that I really love? Yeah, the high school dynamic, how the kids are in love with one another. I really appreciate Brad in this film, played by Judge Reinhold. I just feel like this is a role that's done really well as kind of the young kid struggling, grinding, doing whatever he can to support his family. Maybe his parents aren't there all the time, or maybe they just don't give him money to go do shit, so he has to grind, he has to make money to take his girlfriend out, to take care of his house, take care of his sister, whatever. Yeah, I really relate to this role, to this character, and I feel like it's just done so well with Judge Reinhold that you gotta appreciate it, you gotta love it for what it is, and yeah, he's really a caring guy. He's really looking out for his younger sister Stacy, even though these guys are kind of just pumping and dumping her, whatever. Which is often the case with girls. They get their feelings hurt in high school. Just being naive or thinking this guy actually cares about her, when in reality all he wants is a piece of ass. Yeah, this is it's a movie that has just a vibe to it, and there's nothing really to think about or really digest to it, but there's also a lot that's under the surface where you gotta dig into it, which is why I like doing these videos for y'all. And yeah, hopefully y'all can vibe with me and appreciate these videos for what they are, and what I can do, the best I can explain these films for y'all. I know I may be kind of scatterbrained at times, but I do appreciate y'all being here and still listening if you are. So yeah, it's so 3 things I really liked about this film. Again, briefly, it's a fun stoner movie. We got Spicoli, we got his friends that are just. There's one scene that I also really love where he's in the fucking restaurant that Brad's working at, and he's got his shirt off. All his bros have got their shirt off, and they're just kind of sitting there smoking, high as shit. And then Brad comes up, he's like, yo, you gotta put your shirt on. So it's pretty funny. Another thing I really liked about it, it's a SoCal high school vibe. So as I mentioned, the writer of the short story, or the story that was written before this film, he went underground, or undercover, I should say, at a SoCal high school in San Diego, and he tried to get as much details, as much information as he could about the high school scene, and just how crazy it was, how funny it was, etc. And then the last thing would be just the flow of this movie. It just feels like a real life depiction, or a real life documentary style movie, where you're following around these kids with a camera, and you're just kind of documenting their last year of high school, or the last few months leading up until the year-end dance. So it flows well, and the characters really feel real. As I mentioned, they cover a lot of stereotypes, or a lot of real life characters you would find in a high school, especially in SoCal in the 80s. So yeah, Now, a few of the drawbacks, I feel like this movie could have used a little bit more depth. I appreciate it for what it is, but I feel like maybe they could have thrown in a few more real life lessons, or the ending could have been better with a bit of a better plot. So it was a bit too laid back for me. But yeah, it's good if you just, spark up a J and throw this thing on and just laugh your ass off. This thing always makes me feel good, and like I said, it makes me appreciate life, feel good to be alive, and feel good to have had those times in the past, as a teenager, as a high school kid, going to high school parties, talking to chicks, smoking joints at school, whatever. It's just it makes you really appreciate that experience that you had, and you can relate the experience you had with the movie. So that's always good, and I always love that when watching a film. And then just the last point I had here was there's no real plot, but in a movie like this you can't really expect a real plot, I should say. So this one is getting a 9 out of 10 for me, just because I feel like it's a bit cheesy. Some of the shooting or the cinematics could have been better, the visuals, whatever. But for a 1982 movie, it doesn't get much better for this, for teen comedy, for teen drama, high school type movie. This is really it. It's really a 10 out of 10, but there's certain moments where I feel like it could have been a bit better, so that's why it's getting the 9. But let me know what y'all thought of this one. This is another one of my favorites. Like I said, I just had to take a break from horror and drop this one for y'all. I've been wanting to do it for a while, and I was running out of ideas. I'm like, fuck it, let me drop another classic. This is Fast Times at Ridgemont High, a 1982 film directed by Amy Heckerling, starring Sean Penn, Sean Penn, Jennifer Jason Leigh, and Robert Romanus, and Brian Backer. I feel like there's just such a great mix of characters in this film, and for a high school film, they really had a great number of characters, which I'd say there's like 3 to 5 main characters in this film, and then there's an additional supporting 3 to 4, which I feel like is perfect for a high school movie. And there's not too many characters, there's not too little, so it's perfect, y'all. Check this one out if you haven't. But this is Fast Times at Ridgemont High. This is your boy Diego, and I'm signing off for now. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I know it was a longer one, but thank y'all for sticking through it with me. I love y'all, and thank y'all for being here. Alright, peace.